Yes.
Okay. You didn't steal the car?
No, I was sober.
Driving without a license?
Yeah, just driving without a license. I took a 5-minute drive around the block and then never went back home.
And so then you were detained in a Homeland Security division?
So first they made me finish. The judge ordered 4 months and 10 days, put it into rehab. So I said, I agree with that, Your Honor. I've been there years ago, and I'm very grateful you're trying to save my life. You know what I mean? This is about my life, because I was almost dead. You know what I mean? Drinking because of traumas from my past, my childhood. And I was sober at one time for 13 years. This was a relapse. It was a bad one, you know? I couldn't put down the drink. And the judge seen it in me. He says, the cops, he says, police, you know what I mean? But then when I pled guilty to the charge of driving a car without a license, I didn't know. I barely just put my foot right in my mouth, and my lawyer didn't advise me of my rights, immigration rights. So I was going for a vacate, right, under those conditions. But my police department went and wrote a letter to Homeland Security, right, because it was mentioned through a district attorney from Homeland to say, we're going to appeal the decision because there was only 2 charges, you know, on my paperwork from Homeland Security. I was going to the United States. I was an alcoholic, and I still am today for the rest of my life. As long as I don't forget the first drink, I'm not going to get drunk. You know, and it's just the way I live today.
So did this happen after 9/11?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're using
the Patriot Act.
The Patriot Act that came in after 9/11
yes, it did.
of 01.
Yes.
To punish you for driving without a license and being an alcoholic.
I was Canadian, born in Canada. And sometimes I had the police tell me, why don't you just go back to Canada? You know, where the place of your birth. We're tired of dealing with you. You know what I mean? It's like, I couldn't figure out why they were telling me that. I could never figure it out, you know? That why would the police, that I've known for years when I was sober, I was helping others. For a great many years I worked in the detoxes. I worked helping people, trying to get recovery. You know, it's like sponsoring them, I will be a friend, you know? When I get sober, follow me. Come to the journey. You know, I mean, it's a great journey.
How do you feel about, this may sound like a strange question, are you a terrorist?
No, I'm not, but I was placed in an environment with terrorists. There was terrorists with me where I was at for 1 year. Cartel, rapists, child molesters, you know, pedophiles, people that sold great amounts of drugs. But I know that it's the terrorists. How could you look at somebody and create a terrorist? Which I used to speak to the man every day until he moved out. They took him to court. Then he was all over the news. You know, with the New York, he had something to do with the New York, with the van. That was the man that was in a couple of cells over from us. You know what I mean? He lived with us.
How do you feel about being lumped into this group?
I feel like I wasn't like put in a POW status. You know, they got that in Cuba. It's like, at first I was looked at as you know, I'm an immigrant. I'm saying, what do you mean an immigrant? I feel it. You know, I was brought up American. I loved America. I was even willing to die for that country. You know, I was brought to the States not because I wanted to be brought there, because I had to be brought there because my father didn't have any work. And I was traumatized for 3 years in a school because I had to learn English. And it was trauma. I mean, at 16 I found the answer for that trauma, which was alcohol. And at 20 years old, I met my wife. After 1 month, we were married. You know, my first love, my first girlfriend, and I haven't seen her in 3 years.
Let me ask you about that. So, you have been here since when?
2011, July 17th.
They brought you to the border and
yes,
said...
dropped me off.
Just dropped you at the Calais or at...
Holton.
Holton?
And
pushed you across the border and said, see you later.
yeah, and then I went to the side with the Canadian side. Said, welcome home. Did they feed you? I said, no. And it was me and another guy, and they went and got their lunches for us. That was incredible. We welcome home after all these years of being away, you know, by Canadian border guys. I still haven't found a way to thank them to welcome me back home. This is home. This is all I got.
So, how is this affecting you right now? Obviously, you cannot go and visit your parents. They still live in the Boston area.
Yes, they do.
Your wife and your kids still in the Boston area?
Yes, they are.
So how is this affecting your life right now?
It's I hate being alone. You know what I mean? Without having my permanent family, it hurts. I hurt every day. I cry sometimes every day. You know. As I look at pictures on my walls where I had a granddaughter that was born in July of 2011 and died in August 29th of 2011. It was premature, and I could not return to go bury her. And I still live with that every day. You know, and then I have my dog, my best friend, passed away, right? My wife calls me up, another bad call, that she had to put my dog to sleep. I love that dog, you know what I mean?
But they consider moving here?
Their whole life is America. They're Americans. You know what I mean? To ask that question, my wife says eventually, maybe she'll move here. But where am I going to bring it to? In Fredericton nonprofit, where you can't even have a dog or cat, or where you're going to fly in your apartment, or they're going to boot you out. I wish they would change the laws a little bit so I could own a dog that not have to be alone. You know what I mean? Because I feel very alone. I want to have a dog, right? The companionship. And I will love that dog because it will not give me back my family, it'll give me back something here in my heart. You know what I mean? I love Canada. I love that I'm Canadian. I'm Acadian. And I'm proud of that heritage. You know what I mean? My great-grandmother was Micmac. I'm proud of my childhood here. I was brought to America. I was traumatized, right? But I became, you know, I thought I was always American. You know what I mean? After all these years of living there. And after that 9/11, it changed everything.
Stop this for just 1 second.
One question.
Hold on. Sorry. Just want to change my shot a little bit. What do you want to happen? Do you want to be able to go home? Do you want to be able to have your family here? What is it that you want most to happen here?
The biggest wish I could actually have in life is to be with my family, right? But what was done to me in America, where I was held, I don't know if I want to go back to America. Because what was done to me, I was treated like a prisoner of war in a country that I believed in, right? That I respected. You know what I mean? I was there when the 9/11 hit. You know what I mean? My head went down to all the people that would had to die over this, and this was over a terrorist group, which is still there, and going back to the streets of America from Homeland Security, ICE custody. I've seen them go back to the streets of America because they had an abundance of money. Why? I keep asking myself why every day.
So even if they open that door to you, say, yeah, Ron, you're free to come back in.
I would probably
you would to go and see your family.
Yes, because when I see my dad a few months ago, walking with a cane, not the same person I left 2 years ago. Does no longer drive, can no longer fix the house, which we were brought up in. That I own part of that house, and I'm not going to sell the house because my mom and dad live there. My wife lives there with my children, my granddaughter, my new granddaughter, Elena, that I love very much. I can't even go hold her, watch her grow up. She's 8 months old. I'm a grandfather. I'm proud to be a grandfather, and it hurts that I can't go hold that little baby.
Have you been able to fight this in any sense? Have you attempted to fight this?
I've attempted, but it seems like I just feel like just giving up.
What have you done to fight this?
Well, that's the government here, but they got no ties in the United States. I have a gentleman, and he's a clerk magistrate, first clerk magistrate in my hometown of Leominster, Mass. His name is Raymond Salmon, and he says that I'm not a danger to the United States, which he's backing me up 100%. I got a letter that specifies this, and it's like nothing is really moving. You know, I'd love to go back to America, but may possibly visits at first. You know what I mean? And but once I grab a hold of my granddaughter, I'm not letting her go.
What are the hopes? Like, is this something that's going to happen anytime soon? Or are you going to
I
have to
just
keep
don't
pushing
know. I
this?
pray. I believe in a God, right? I pray every day. I ask God for forgiveness. Was I that bad of a person? I wasn't a